the state agency alike.
My Lords, it's a pleasure to follow the noble Lord Chidgey, who's brought such technical knowledge and experience to the subject, and I wanted to begin by congratulating my noble friend Lord Poppart. I think he put his finger on the problem, which is a perception lag. In my experience, my Lords, national stereotypes can last for decades after they've ceased to apply. We still have the stereotype of the American as a rough, ponderous frontiersman, when, of course, as we all know, they are the primmest and politest people in the West. We still have the stereotype of the militaristic German. In fact, if we want to have stereotypes about our German friends, we would be more accurate seeing them as a nation of right-on pacifists. We still have the stereotype of terrible British food, when this city offers a more diverse and subtle range of cuisines than any comparable place on the planet, and so it is with Africa. We grew up seeing those images of gun-toting teenagers and flies crawling across the lips of children with swollen bellies, but look at the facts. According to the IMF, Africa will regain its growth rate of 6.5% by 2025. In the same year, the majority of African countries will qualify as middle-income states. Depending on how you measure it, 6 or 7 of the top 10 fastest-growing economies on the planet are in Africa. Africa is the great unremarked and unreported economic success story of the 21st century. But still, we have these perception lags. Still, we tend to think in terms of ongoing duties, almost as a paternalistic form of power. But Lord Poppart, I think, put his finger on the solution when he talked about the way in which air links have been restored to Entebbe. The last time I flew to Entebbe, I had to go through the Netherlands, because, as he said, the British Airways had withdrawn its flight, but the cut flowers market is a big deal in Uganda, as he knows, and it seemed to me extraordinary, and it seemed to many Ugandans extraordinary, that they had to go through the Netherlands in order to get to London. How wonderful that there is now a solution that was indigenous to Africa. My only quibble with the precise wording of the debate before your lordships today is the implication that it's for the government to make companies aware of opportunities. Governments are not terribly good at doing that sort of thing. They weren't terribly good at installing telephones or building cars, and they're not terribly good at anticipating what business ought to be doing. What governments can do, and what specifically our government could do in the current situation, is to identify specific obstacles, specific barriers to trade and investment, and set about dismantling them. And I'm thinking not just of removing tariffs, which, to be fair, most of the heavy lifting has been done, although, as I said on a previous occasion in this room, there is more to do. But I want to look at the opportunities we have, particularly in services. Africa has a young and increasingly educated population. Spread of educational opportunity in that continent is, again, one of the great unremarked stories of our age. There's going to be generations of people coming with skills as coders, computer programmers, and so on, looking for opportunities to exploit that combination of skills and cheap wage costs in a global market. And we, as an English-speaking and common law country, are exceptionally well placed to benefit from links with African states that share those criteria. So I'd like to ask my noble friend the Minister to consider whether we can do more to move towards a template for Commonwealth trade deals with some of the countries that it might otherwise take us a little bit of time to get around to. I understand, obviously, that we have bandwidth issues, we have capacity issues, we're putting together a trade policy at an extraordinary pace after 50 years of not having had one. So it may be a while in the normal scheme of things until you get around to the Malawi's order. But there are ways, surely, that we can offer, if you like, not a regional trade deal, not a Commonwealth trade deal, because it wouldn't be regional, it wouldn't be, as it stands, legal under WTO terms, but if you like, a template where you can write in the name of your country here and say, here is the basic offer, and you qualify as a Commonwealth nation. And in particular, I would like to see that deal involving a lot of mutual recognition and reciprocity on services. But I'll finish by again reiterating the point my noble friend made. Pliny was supposed to have said, or supposedly quoting an ancient Greek proverb, that there's always something new. Ex Africa semper aliquid novum. But actually, the new thing now is that Africa is becoming very much like everywhere else. A middle-class consumerist society with people who want better things, just like people in North America or Europe or Asia. And therein lies an immense advantage to us as a country if only we will pursue it. We should stop thinking of Africa as an obligation and start thinking of it as an opportunity.